Hi, my name is Madison Garcia, and this is my Applied Learning Project. In the quest for understanding politics on a deeper level, we ask the question as to why people think and act the way they do politically. Every individual will be exposed to political socialization throughout their lifetime and potentially develop a sense of partisanship to a particular party. Their party identification will factor into influencing whether or not they choose to engage in political participation. Learning to understand these topics through this course has allowed me to piece together how these topics align, enabling me to become more cognizant of the biases of others, as well as to reflect on my own partisanship and engagement in politics. Political socialization determines how we shape our opinions. It is the cumulative process by which people develop political ideologies, opinions, and values. Our political socialization is a reflection of the influences we encounter throughout childhood and adulthood. Through course discussion, we learned that the primary socialization agents that have the biggest influence on us are our families, churches, and schools. The secondary agents of socialization include the media, our leaders, and events. Political parties guide the formation of our views, which leads us to form partisanship and ideological leanings. Understanding partisanship explains why political opinions are such a firm part of our identities. In the article, Why Americans Vote Against Their Interest, Amanda Taub states, "When multiple identities line up together, all pushing people toward the same party, partisan identity becomes a kind of umbrella for many different characteristics that people feel are important to them. That magnifies people's attachment to their team, and that raises the stakes of conflict with the opposing team." I find this explanation rather interesting because it demonstrates how the political divide becomes more than just a disagreement between two sides. Individuals feel as though they are fighting for the elements that make up their intersectionality because that is such an important part of who they are. Identity is a huge factor that drives this polarization between political parties, which is something I previously failed to recognize. A strong sense of partisanship does not necessarily mean a person will participate politically. In a class activity, we were asked to come up with reasons that may stop a person from voting. Diamond Long stated, "You may not think your vote matters." This refers to the term alienation, which is a feeling of powerlessness rooted in the belief that the government ignores one's interest. In course discussion, we brainstormed means of political participation other than voting. I stated that you can identify an interest you're passionate about and contact state legislator. Haley White stated you could participate in protests and petitions, and Kate Westlake added volunteering for campaigns. These are all great ways to participate. Assuming the number of people who invest so intently in politics, one would assume there would be more political participation. This is where hobbyism comes into play. A hobbyist is someone who emotionally invests in politics, but refrains from the involvement of politics outside of one's headspace. In the article, Politics is for Power by Eaton Hirsch, the introduction paints the concept of hobbyism in a negative light, as the author claims hobbyists are making politics worse. He states, "Yet citizens who want to empower their political values would be better off if they spent less time consuming politics as at-home amateurs and instead fell in line to help strengthen organizations and leaders." Although many of us find ourselves guilty of hobbyism, during class discussion, Cole McDaniel shared an interesting perspective. He stated, "I think the author completely condemns hobbyism. Obviously, being active and participating and volunteering is what we're striving for, but I do think that being informed and being consumed by politics and at least being knowledgeable about it is better than being completely ignorant and not caring at all." I find his reflection on the article to align very well with my own take on hobbyism and the author's voice. Not everyone's looking to gain power for their party. However, being knowledgeable about politics can always come in handy. This article allowed us to reflect on our own hobbyist tendencies, which is why it's important to discuss the different ways we can participate in politics. It's important to ask ourselves how we are engaging in the system. I believe that civic engagement in politics is not a requirement, but a privilege. Political decisions affect the way and quality of life for U.S. citizens, and that is why we should care beyond just ranting on our social media accounts. I previously saw politics as a divide between two sides, failing to recognize that the things we experience throughout our lifetime, along with the aspects of our identity, explain why we think and act the way we do, and why we feel that sense of loyalty to our political party. I will use my knowledge of political participation to find ways to get involved in my community as I continue to delve deeper into my own beliefs. I will also recognize my own partisanship when it comes to having civil conversations with people who hold different opinions than me. It's always great to expand your mind and hear from the other side. The common reason why this world is so divided in general is because we don't try to understand each other, which I believe is one of the most important takeaways from this course. Thank you.